Hey, it's Logan at Stocks. We're back in charge. Well, not really in charge of anything. Well, I guess this podcast is all we got. But we're back doing it. We're going to roll some tape, and we'll see what we can do. It's been a while. Christmas holidays, New Year's, we rang it in different ways. We all did that kind of stuff. So Santa's come down your chimbley. You got all the toys, got all the gifts. Now let's get to the games. It's been a crazy season, hasn't it? You know?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's been a fun season up to this point. We've had some surprises. We've had some of the teams that we thought were going to take off, kind of been doing that. And it definitely shows that this league has camaraderie and everybody's diversified and everybody can win, so it doesn't really matter.
And that might have been Manny telling us to shut down the show, or maybe he was surprised that we were filming a show after such a long break. But we're definitely back. We're definitely going to keep doing this, and it's fun for us. What I found fun this season, talking about fun stuff, is I'll throw you a question, Stock, see if you agree with me. Isn't it odd? Think about it. Now, all the teams that were in the playoffs last year, we've kind of done a reversal. Now we got all the bad teams from last year doing really well. You got the San Diego Chargers, who pretty much had the first pick in the draft last year, who's doing quite well. We got the Chiefs, who, didn't make the playoffs last year, doing quite well. You got the Packers, who didn't make the playoffs last year, who's, I think, tied for second or maybe third with the Bears, but he's definitely in the race for the playoffs still, at least a wild card. You have the Dolphins, who didn't make the playoffs at 5-3 now. The Vikings just barely squeaked into the playoffs. He's leading the division now. The Bengals looks like he might be, on his way out of the playoffs because he's 4-4, and guys like San Diego and the Chiefs and the 49ers even, they're 8-1, the 49ers. I mean, these are teams that missed the playoffs last year. See, we got high demand for this show. Look at my phone going off. I swear, man. I wish it was actually some people from the league, but unfortunately, people don't ever want to join us. I think we smell, Docs.
Yeah, I think we suck or something. I don't know what it is, but we've put it out there too many times. I guess it's just the Stocks Logan show, that's all.
That's it. That's the only people I ever listen.
Yeah. Well, we have Manny and Alex.
Yeah.
Manny and Alex will always come on. The other team you wanted to talk about was the Arizona Cardinals, which, they're at 5-3.
But, I mean, sure, you still got your loser teams like me and some other teams I'm not going to mention. You can put your loser teams in whatever category you want. But, there's always those teams that aren't doing very well. But still, I mean, I find it astonishing. All the bad teams who missed the playoffs, who didn't even have a shot in blue, of making it last year, are definitely in. I mean, look at the 49ers, 8-1. The Chiefs, 7-2. I mean, Vikings 7-1, Dolphins 5. These teams pretty much were not thought of. Manny 6-3.
The Giants undefeated again.
How many laughs did we have about that trade last year? And maybe he's finally figured it out. So I don't know that right off the page just seems really interesting to me. What happened to the Cowboys, man? They lost.
Cowboys, it comes down to their quarterback play. He's got, I think, a top 10 quarterback sitting on the bench.
Tony Romo?
In Tony Romo, yeah.
Tony was traded.
Top 10 quarterback.
Tony was traded to the Browns.
Okay, so then there you go. So then he's going to ride the Fitzpatrick show.
Yeah, so. He's got Fitzpatrick and he's got Colt McCoy.
Okay. I'm not too excited about that. I don't think I would have done that. Fitzpatrick is just not my cup of tea, I guess.
Yeah, I've always you can date me back in the podcast. I told you I thought Fitzpatrick was his quarterback. He's he's a great running player. User runs. He's very talented in the run department. Usually, I mean, this game obviously 8 attempts for -2 yards. Something happened in this game, but you look back at the history of this player. He knows how to run. He knows how to build his line, so his running backs are effective. But this season's just been a disappointment, and probably more so, than a disappointment doesn't really sum it up. But I really think if this guy could just get the passing game under control, he'd be a scary factor in the playoffs. But he's never been able to do it.
Yeah, I'm just not. His attributes and just the way his style of play, it just doesn't fit for me. I guess I don't know.
I know. You said that you would never have traded Dez Bryant. Never traded Dez Bryant.
No.
He traded Dez Bryant. Now he's doing wholesale trades. His offense. He's really got a good defense. Pretty much. He runs a very aggressive scheme. He blitzes a lot. But it works for him. But I mean, he's never been able to get it. But last year, at least he was competitive. I mean, there was a chance he could have made the playoffs, and this year he's sitting at 1-7. So I don't know what's happened to him. Looking at the opposite, though, we talked about the Chiefs being in neutral. We didn't really want the pretender kind of preface that we said, we want to hit the gas with him, but we're going to stick him in neutral for a while and then come back. I think it's safe to assume that he's going to make the playoffs in some fashion or form.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. He's definitely making that run now, and the whole Schaub trade is working out for him. I think that's the main key. And Forte is actually starting to run a little bit now. He ended up beating the Bengals in a close 18-16 victory. Schaub with 317 yards passing. Matt Forte, 19 carries on 62 yards. So, he's mixing it up, very well.
Yep. And this week is the only week that Schaub really had a bad game. And remember, we said that once he got Schaub, once we found about that trade that he made with the Texans, and everything cleared, we said if he could ever get Schaub under control, he was going to be dangerous because he's an old timer. Back when me and Stocks were probably young pups, and now we're old timers with a cane too. This guy's an old timer, so we knew what to expect from him. And Schaub's made all the difference, even though he had a bad game last week.
Yeah, in that case, I firmly believe the Chiefs owner. We've been saying it a few times now that we're kind of shocked that we haven't seen him in the big dance yet. And it's setting up for definitely a Chiefs deep run in the playoffs.
No, and he's playing he's played a pretty tough team. I mean, he played the Bengals, who made the playoffs last year. I find it ironic, and it shows the parity of this league that all these teams are kind of equal. They get one player, and wow, they're a factor now. They get, you were undefeated last year for a good portion of it. Now you're struggling. I mean, this league can be jumbled up so many different ways, but the truth is we have so much talent and so many owners and so many different philosophies. But no matter what you do, this league is always going to be talented with talented people.
Oh yeah, that's what that could be a motto of this league of any given year, any given team.
That's why, honestly, I don't care that I'm 0-8 because at least I know I'm playing with fair, honest, go-getter type players. I don't think we have many tankers in the league. You know what tanking is. It's where you lose on purpose for higher draft picks. Obviously, some people do it to some extent. I mean, I'd like to think nobody does it at all, but I mean, that's just the promised land that me and Stocks, and only me and Stocks live in, that everyone's always fair. But I think, for the most part, we're pretty fair, a pretty fair league, and we have a lot of teams that might be losing one year that come around and, swim back to the playoffs the next year. So that's always something to look forward to at this time of the year. When what are we now at the 8 weeks? We're at the halfway point. So this is the time where you're either looking at the draft board or looking at the playoff picture.
Yeah, with that aspect, you're saying it wouldn't make any sense. I could see if you're setting yourself up, okay, you're not going to make the playoffs this year, that you're going to experiment, with certain playbooks and certain players.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't believe you would really want to, tank a season just for that one higher draft pick, because you're not going to, that one pick isn't going to turn your whole team around. You need to, turn the page around. You can't just turn one player. You know,
Yeah.
There's more than one player that's at fault with your team if you're struggling.
No, I think you're right, and I think, like you said, we've talked, and I've talked about how take the Atlanta Falcons for instance. They didn't. Now, obviously, they had some turmoil, I think, with their ownership last year. They get an owner in there now, but he gets one player that makes all the difference. That tight end, Brooks. He's made a difference for that team. He's been that playmaker, that golden boy they needed. And sometimes a losing team will come into the draft and they'll get that player, and then boom, instantly they're set to go to the playoffs. Chiefs is kind of struggling in offense. Boom, he makes the trade. Instantly they're in the playoffs. So there's different philosophies how to get to the playoffs, but really, and this league proves that we're all fighting for the playoffs at some point. So whether it be 0-7 or 1-7 like the Cowboys, or 0-8 like me, or 0-8 like the Rams, that's to say no one sucks. We just have different. We got to pick up our paddles next year and try to get to the playoffs. I think that's important to remember. Talking about the playoffs, would you like to play some pretender contender?
Shoot it, let's go.
Shoot it, let's go. The Chiefs, are we ready to stick them guys out in neutral?
Put it on the board. I say they make a deep run. They're set up very well. The mixture of Forte is the lethal concept, and he's got his rookie wide receiver Sanders playing pretty well. So yeah. They're for real. And like we said, it's about time the Chiefs owner, the actual owner himself, makes a run, because he's been in this league long enough, and he knows the styles, he knows the gameplay, and it's just his time.
I'll let you shoot me a team, and I'll do the same thing you did. We'll go back and forth. I want to preface you with a question, though, so you can kind of ponder it as I answer your team, and that is, would you rather have Sanders, or would you rather have the rookie the Vikings have in Strong? They're both wide receivers, both putting up pretty good years for their teams respectively. I know the styles change, but looking at the stats, I'll give you a minute to look it up while I talk about this other team. Which guy would you rather have?
Yeah, I know the attributes for the rookie Strong from the Vikings, and I like his speed.
Yeah.
And his agility. As a slot receiver, that's what I look for. That's one thing that I lack on my team, is a slot receiver that has speed and agility, and Strong is definitely that weapon.
Well, he can go outside too. He put him outside a few times against me. Put him inside. That guy is just a wide receiver flat out, in my opinion. But I don't know. Saunders has been putting up some good numbers. I haven't really seen his attributes, but I know the Chiefs have been using him quite well. But see, he's got 11 touchdowns. This is for Strong. He's got almost 1,000 yards. So I'll let you look up Sanders. But throw me a team real quick that you want me to play contender or pretender with.
Manny's Green Bay Packers.
Manny's Green Bay Packers. I'll tell you what, if you sit in the chat rooms and you talk to Manny, he'll talk your ear off about how he's still got a chance and how he's going to do all this in the playoffs. He's going to do that. He's going to, try to swindle a few trades to me now and then. But I got to admit, Manny could be for real this year. You gave me a good one, because I'd want to say yes because it makes my division look tougher. I'm going to have to say yeah. I'm going to have to say he at least makes the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers. But it all depends on Aaron Rodgers. Looking back at the games and everything, it rides on Aaron Rodgers. And more specifically, Manny, the guy controlling the quarterback. His decision making is really what's gonna determine a lot of things. We talked about you have to have a running game, and that's true, but he's also got to keep the turnovers down. Let me try to find Aaron Rodgers' stats real quick. But the main thing is, some games he looks fantastic, and some games he throws way too many interceptions with Aaron Rodgers. I would have to say yes, he's got all the pieces. He's got the running back, who's got the speed, the rookie out of Houston, Flanning. And he's got, Starks, the rookie sensation last year. He likes the Williams. I would have to say he should make it.
Okay.
at least in the wild card, you'd think he would make it. You got to assume that he's going to make it and the Vikings are going to make it. Maybe but see, the Bears are tricky. The Bears, see, I think one good team out of my division is going to miss it. It's either going to be the Bears or the Green Bay Packers. So put it on the board. I'm voting on the Packers making it. But Manny, don't make me look like a fool. Otherwise, no more Packer love for me. It's hard enough to say the Packers are going to make the playoffs. At least make me look like a smart, hurtful man when my heart cries. I said the Packers are going to make the playoffs. So.
You want me to check up Torrey Sanders' numbers? He has 37 receptions for 834 yards.
Wow, very close in the yardage.
Yeah, 22 average. 22 yards average per catch,
yeah,
4 touchdowns.
Oh, that's the difference.
So
4 touchdowns?
Yep, 4 touchdowns.
So 4 touchdowns to 11 touchdowns, that's where Strong separates himself. And you say, well, he didn't get as many, receptions. He didn't get... Yeah, wide receiver gets paid for his touchdowns. I mean, doesn't he? I mean, pass rushers get paid for their sacks. Quarterbacks get paid for their, completion ratings and their low turnovers. And wide receivers get paid for that spectacular, type, Holmes catches and the Kelvin Johnson, spectacular catches. That's what wide receivers get paid for. And I got to give that to Strong, the advantage there. So, me and Stocks promised to do a multitude of things because really we've missed a few weeks with the whole holiday break and all that stuff. So we're going to just throw a bunch at you and see what you can catch. Try not to drop a lot of balls because you won't make it in this league and you definitely won't make it in the NFL. Going back to the contenders though. Let me give you a team. What about Atlanta? Out of your division, the guy you know well, you played him twice. I guess the one game did get simmed, unfortunately. He's sitting at 5-3, and what are you at? 4-3 now?
4-4.
4-4. Do you think this guy, he's got a stranglehold on your division, or do you see weaknesses that maybe he isn't making the playoffs?
Yeah, I believe Atlanta Panthers and the Saints are all going to be battling out maybe to the last week. It looks like because none of them just stand out, No.
You know
what I mean? So I just believe it's going to be, a real fight to the finish in that division. We all know each other.
Yeah.
I think I play the Panthers one more time. I have to play the Bucks twice. But I have a tougher part of the schedule. I'm not sure what the Falcons' schedule looks like the rest of the way. But
no.
I just believe it's going to be, just one of those tough battles to the end.
I will say this. If the Falcons lets it go, if he blows this chance that you guys are giving him, because you guys both had slow starts. The Panthers, I believe, didn't have a great start to the season. You obviously didn't have a great start to the season, and he did. Whether it was an easy schedule in the beginning or a hard schedule, the point was he's leading the division right now. But you're right. The Panthers are at 4-4. You're at 4-4. He's at what, 7-3?
No, 5-3.
5-3, yeah, sorry. But so he doesn't really have a strong hold as he had before. So maybe that experience from an old time good gamer like Stocks pays off. Maybe the Panthers, he remembers when you beat him in the last week to go to the playoffs. Maybe he's still bitter about that, and he rises to the occasion. That's going to be a tough division to watch for me. I bet even tougher for you because you got to play in it. So that'll be interesting. What about going back? I want to give these bad teams some love now and then. What about the Bucks, man? They kind of looked dead in the water. Maybe they were fighting for the number one, draft pick, which no one really wants to fight for. That's the number one thing you don't want to really get a lot of. It looked like maybe he was going to go 0-A. Maybe he'd be in the running with me and the Rams or the Cowboys. Even you could put in that kind of realm for the number one pick. And then he rattles off 2 pretty impressive wins. So now he's sitting at 2-6.
Yeah, the Bucks are a very interesting team. Looking over their roster, they got some older guys, some veterans on their team, but a tandem with Brandon Flowers and Talib at cornerback, both rated 93. I mean, I don't know if that's a better tandem in the league at cornerback that I can think of because these two guys are just both shut down corners on the defensive side of the ball.
Yes, sir, they are.
And when you got a guy like LeGarrette Blount, pounding the rock, that sets up well for a controlled ball type of offense.
Mm-hmm.
So the Bucks are Josh Freeman's he's a good solid all around quarterback. So yeah, the Bucks are a very interesting team. I think overall they're the team that they don't have the big playmakers. So if they're not in control of the game, they probably have a hard time coming back.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Looking, like I said, I want to give this guy some love because we don't really get to talk about the bad, quote unquote, the bad record teams very often. Because either they're not exciting, or we're in the wrong part of the season, and now it's playoff time, so everyone wants to talk about the playoffs, and that's all good and well. And then we get to the draft, and at Stocks, we're always talking about the players. We're talking about the players in the draft, and not really the team. But the Bucks, he did some things that impressed me. I know early in the season we've seen him force some things with Freeman, and his interceptions can get high. This last game with the Tennessee Titans, he really ran the ball well. He did it between two guys, and I'll take Blount. You can take the rookie. He ran 14 times with 39 yards, which doesn't seem like much as long as it's 14 yards. But giving Blount 14 carries, being the Blount floors, excuse the pun, I mean, he got one touchdown, but you keep hammering it with two running backs like he was. I mean, you're going to do some good things.
Yeah, the rookie running back.
That's why I get that. The truth is, that's why I gave him to you, because I was like, I don't know how to say that name, and I'm not in spelling bees, so go for it, Stocks.
I believe it's Lenawoski.
Lenawoski sounds good.
He's a 5'8", 191 running back from Mississippi State. He's rated 73 overall.
Yeah.
75 speed, 97 agility, 96 acceleration, 92 explosive. Looking over his stats, he's only got the ball 66 times for almost 300 yards, but 6 touchdowns. So he's that little back that can find the end zone. And when you got a big guy like LeGarrette Blount, pounding that rock, and then you have this little 5'8" guy come in. I mean, it's a good 1-2 mix.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? You got the power of a Blount, like I said, that hammering force, boom, boom,
Blunt
boom.
force trauma.
Yeah, or that motorboat back, as you tried coining a few podcasts ago, and then you bring that speedster guy and that roadrunner type back, who I will preface looking at his attributes. I'm quite impressed. His catching is 79.
Yeah, he's got 13 receptions on the season. So for 94 yards. So he catches out of the backfield.
So yeah, he catches out of the backfield. He's actually got a pretty good release too. So that's impressive, and he's got 79 catching traffic. So he's just about as good as catching in traffic as he is just catching the ball out of the backfield. Now, he doesn't run great routes, but for a 5'8" running back...
you're looking at a Darren Sproles prototype,
Yeah, exactly, a Darren Sproles prototype. So it's exciting for him to get a couple wins under his belt. I'm happy for this guy. I play him when I play in your division, as we play the NFC a little bit. So I'll play him later this year. I played him last year. He's in your division. He's a good guy, so it's good to give him some love. Coming back, we'll break down some more games, and we'll try to get more of a rhythm between the two of us. We apologize for that. It's been a while. Like I said, Santa Claus came, New Year's came, so we've been partying it up a little bit, but we're coming right back after this. We'll play some more.